one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mayor Mikolajchik.
Here.
Council President Conningham.
Here.
Councilman Corns. Councilman DeSenza.
Present.
Councilman DeCino.
Here.
Councilman Doty.
Here.
Councilman Griggs.
Here.
Administrator Laplace.
Here.
And Attorney Corsini.
Here. Okay. Before we get things rolling along right here, I think what we're going to do is that we're going to change things up just a little bit. We're going to have a presentation. Because Councilman Carnes is not here tonight because of a death in his family. We would normally address this during his report, and one of the parts of his report was going to be regarding a film commission and a strategy. We have Mr. Rosinski here tonight, who was actually, I believe, you were with Jeremiah. You were prepped to make some type of presentation or talk about it.
That's fine.
So, are you good for right now?
Well, I mean, I would probably just touch base on the same points they did last time. This gets a little more detailed on some of it.
I'll tell you, why don't you give us a little rundown and go to the mic so it gets recorded for all posterity.
Kevin Rosinski, 441 Middlesex. I emailed everybody kind of a strategy regarding how to proceed with a full-blown film commission. There were a couple pages in there that weren't printed, which I understand. They were just information sheets and fact sheets on the studio building that's already taken place. Again, 1888 is a European studio that's building on the banks of Bayonne. They're spending upwards of $2 billion. Lionsgate is already built, and we all know about Netflix. It's going to be going on down in Fort Monmouth. It's here. It's going to be happening here. All of this was taking place thanks to the tax incentives that were in place, and it was even before the wildfires in LA. So last year, New Jersey was number fourth state in the country when it came to filming, and they are on track to be number 3 this year. So there's going to be a large amount of filming taking place in the area, and as I always say, there's a reason that films cost a lot of money, and it's because they spend a lot of money. I have, since last time I spoke on this, been in touch with a councilman in Franklin who, as a side hustle, does background work, and he also took a brief driving course and is considered a precision driver. So let's say you have a scene where a lead is pulling up to a red light and other cars pull around it. They don't necessarily need a full-blown stuntman, but they need somebody who has this professional precision driving certification. So that's kind of his little niche. And I went over some of the things with him that I talked about here, and some of the things that he's trying to get going over there. Interestingly enough, he had worked doing location work on productions. And one of the things I mentioned to him I wanted to do, which actually I did not get a chance to put in here, is the idea of an overview of the entire town, laying out where we have large plots and parcels that can be utilized as a home base or parking area, such as Mountainside over by the school, where they could come in, park all the trailers, what have you, and then from there they would go off to where the location is. And he said from his working location, if you have 2 towns, and one of them is going to be a 5-minute drive to set, and the other one is going to be 10, because it's going to be a 5-minute town every time. One element I did put in here, which is a bit of a new wrinkle, is the idea of 24-hour access. Now, this I derived from myself looking back into getting involved and looking at the casting agencies that were working with the President Spielberg production. I believe maybe coming to Bound eventually. There's a new De Niro project that's going to be taking place in New Jersey. And both I saw in articles in NJ.com, and they mentioned Grant Whiteley casting. So when I looked that up online, I was familiar with them from ages ago when I used to do a lot of this. And their hours of operation are 8 a.m. to midnight, and then they have phone access 24 hours. The idea of a 24-hour access, just posting it on the website, even if no one ever used it, just the concept that in perusing they see that there's that kind of accessibility, which is simply a phone line, it's a cell phone, is going to set us apart. And the first time that someone does field a call at 1 a.m. and are able to meet a demand for the next day or the following day, it puts you on the map overnight. Probably the biggest piece of this is going to be, and it's the most sort of the hardest to rein in, is going to be the residents. Because people will, on occasion, experience some inconvenience. If everybody is versed in it, if everybody's educated on what it means, and what it would mean for taxes, and what it would mean for, raising the prestige of the area, which then could then drive entertainment tourism. I think it'd be pretty easy to get people on board, but I do think people need to be educated as to exactly what it looks like. It's fun to think about, oh, they're going to film a movie in my town, and then, it's another thing when you get up at 6 in the morning and there's literally trailers all down your street. You have to park on the other side, and you have to, for the reward that would come from it, it's not a lot to have to put out. But people need to know it, and it is, any movie set's a very vulnerable situation. And really all it takes is one curmudgeon with an air horn, and they lose a day of filming, which is a few $100,000. You're not going to hear from them yet. So having everybody on board, which is mentioned in here, the idea of community-based, like some community events that are specifically driven toward educating everybody, letting them know how it is they can take part, how they may have assets that can already be used. Classic cars, people with a well-trained dog. I mean, these are things that they're going to be looking for. Do they need to put people in a park? Yes, they do. And they need to put, if a guy can come with a dog too, it's a plus. If they can have somebody fill a parking lot with a couple of classic cars, it's a plus. And having that all down on our own sort of inventory or roster of what it is we have within the community and have access to that we could present before they even ask would be big. Probably the one thing that I would say is the biggest takeaway from all of this is you really, and this could be any town, and whether it be in California or here, wherever, you're going to get one first shot, and then that's it. If they come in and it's misery and there are problems and somebody's arguing with somebody, because usually they walk their dog here every day, I've been living here for 30 years, I always walk my dog here, I always, like it gets noisy, there's a lot, it's problematic. As I said, they spend a lot of money, but they're also very budget conscious in the sense that time is money. So they don't need to be spending time, trying to wrangle in errant dog walkers and neighbors who don't really want you there and all this kind of thing. So they wouldn't really come back and go, this was great, but if you can do this and change that and change this, it'll be great next time. No, they're just going to leave and they're not going to come back because there are a lot of places. I don't think there's anywhere that's looking to attack it the way I've laid out here, which is to go out and avidly pursue film. From what I've seen online, most towns have set something up, they put their ordinances in place, they put their permits in place, and whatever comes, comes. I'm of the mindset to go out and get it. I know the industry, I've worked in it, I know the lingo, I know who it is you need to talk to, I have no problem picking up the phone, reaching out to people. The idea of a community event even geared toward industry people coming to take a look, having a few shuttles, driving them around, showing them what's here, so that people know before they even pick up the phone and start looking. It's going to be happening in New Jersey. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. It's not turning the other way. It's not going to turn. There's so much money being invested that it is just inevitable. It's here, and I keep saying, I see the next 3 to 5 years are going to be two kind of towns: those that have regular filming and those who are trying to figure out how to have regular filming. And it seems like a great revenue source. Unfortunately, as I've spoken with many people, brick and mortar is dying. Like the idea of attracting a guy who's going to come in and start a little sports shop that's going to turn into the next Effingers, I am afraid those days are over. So it's very limited in regards to what you're going to be able to do to bring in and generate revenue that could be sizable enough to possibly at least stabilize taxes, if not reduce. Because there's a lot of money in this stuff. And if you have the right scene from the right movie shot in your town, you become a destination. I mean, I know I mentioned the last time, but I know there were some folks that weren't here today. The town that Andy Griffith grew up in has fashioned itself to look like Mayberry. And they never shot a single frame there. And people come, and they pay money, and they drive them around in a police car, and they take them to the cell, and they lock them up like Otis, and they take a picture, and everybody's happy, and the restaurants are full, and they've created a whole cottage industry for themselves. Not a single frame of the show was even shot there. Andy Griffith grew up there. So entertainment tourism is real. We do have some film history in town, which unfortunately I don't know if we'd be able to unearth any more of it, but the films that used to run, the newsreels before the movies, which used to be how people got their news, were edited and cut right here on Lincoln Boulevard. And that's a significant piece of film history and also American history. So, I don't know what's left of it. I don't know what kind of landmark there could even be there for that, but building off of that would be the idea of a contemporary new film that takes place in Middlesex, which is completely possible. So I can get into more, I guess, once Jeremiah is.
Well, do you have a follow-up? Didn't mean to cut you off, Ken.
Mhm.
Do you have a follow-up meeting with Jeremiah? Is your next step going to be to get a hold of him and you two guys kind of hash it out a little bit more?
I can speak with him and hash out a little bit more and then present it in full-blown, like this is next step to get things rolling.
Perfect. You guys got any questions for Kevin?
Yeah, Kevin, how about the ordinance now, our ordinance now, which is a couple years old? I'm assuming it has to be tweaked, updated, changed, added to. I don't even think we have permit fees in there, right?
Yeah, that's what Jeremiah actually was touching on with me, because he said whatever change needed to happen.
Okay.
We're still,
So you guys will go over that when you guys get together.
And what do you think would be a good starting point for, I think you mentioned it last time, was it 500 to 1,000 a day is like the average?
the average usage fee is 500 to 1,000 a day. Now, one thing I found interesting, I think it was Metuchen that did it, was either Metuchen or Morristown, is, and I don't know why they were done this, but they put their daily usage fee at 500 unless you were one of the following, and they mentioned big name studios.
Which is illegal.
And I'm like, is it? Because I go, why would you, if anything, you're going to turn them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to say that, oh, it's going to be this much, unless you're a big shot, then it's this much. I thought it was crazy.
You can't name studios. You could say, well, there are ways I could have done that, right? Like how many employees they had or something like that. But you can't name studios in your ordinance. It's illegal.
And in my opinion, I'd rather land right in the middle of the road.
That's what yeah.
For everybody.
Yeah, 750 and then
Pick a number and go.
Yeah.
the new revenue source for us, which we're anxiously looking for every day.
All right.
So, if I'm Mayor, Council President, we did the ordinance in 2022. At the time, I believe Jeremiah confirmed this. Got the ordinance from Clinton Town, which has had quite a bit of success. They were one of the first, I think, if I'm remembering this right. It's been 2.5 years. One of the first to really do the ordinance, but it's been a rapidly changing environment. We should update it. I represent Reddington Township, where they did Caddyshack 2. And then
Right.
they did Caddyshack 2 about 6 months ago. So. If we need to make updates, Mayor, Council President, we can certainly do that. Obviously, it's an evolving thing because our ordinance isn't that old.
Next step is get with
I'll get with
Jeremiah and then come on back and off we go. See what
And
we
then just a note, when we mention that usage fee, that does not include any property rentals.
Yep.
That's simply
That's a
shoot in town. Yeah. So when it comes to a home rental, someone wants to rent their home, someone's going to rent their business, that's something the production company cuts that deal with the individual. So that 1,500 a day is above and beyond any of that. And then there's also, and I mentioned in here, to put into the permits, the cost should they go over the time that they're permitted for, which you can get pretty crazy with because they know, going in, they have a certain amount of time, they got to do what they got to do. But, stuff happens. Now all of a sudden they're getting down to the wire rather than pack up and come back the next day.
It's cheaper to pay.
Cost how much? It's going to be much cheaper to peel off 10, 20, whatever it is you set, because it's going to be in their best interest to save money, rather than to set up, break down, come back the next day, pay a hefty fee, stay another hour that night. I've seen it happen.
And you're saying, Kevin, Boundbrook's doing it, or they're entertaining something, I think, Joe. Denellen, too, you said last time?
Denellen actually had some filming. There was a Dave Duchovny project, and this was probably 2 years ago, and I kind of clued me in as to just how crazy it was starting to get then, because they simply went on Facebook and said anybody who's around that could walk down the street, you could pick up $50 to show up. That bypasses like a lot of union rule and stuff, but they were there, it's on the fly, they find themselves in the situation, they kind of just reached out, they can do what they want to do, and hopefully nobody looks. And I've seen tons of that, but to see that early on, or I'm just sitting at home and all of a sudden it pops up, they're looking for somebody for David Duchovny film in Denellen. I mean, if you would have told me that 15 years ago, I would have thought you're crazy.
Yeah.
But it's here.
I told Kevin today, I was in Mendham this morning, I saw 3 cinema trailers, big trailers,
Oh, yeah.
campers, they were all in the procession, and they went up by Barton High School. That's where the
When they
sign
pull in, it's like the circus comes to town. I mean, you're talking about anywhere from, 30 to 100 people.
Yeah.
And if they bring in their own catering truck, that's a full-blown thing. And then they set up an area for eating. So to set up at Mountain View, perfect, actually.
Yeah.
With all the paved areas and shaded areas.
Yep.
And then they just shuttle to wherever the set turns out to be. But it's certainly a possibility. I'd love to see the town take advantage of it, and I'd love to be a part of that.
That's why we're looking at it, Kevin.
Great.
I appreciate it.
Keep-
Anybody else?
No, keep us posted, you're gonna work with
Yep.
you, yeah, just keep us updated.
Thanks, Kevin.
Great, you got it. Thank you.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to appointments.
Okay, we have accepting the resignation of Jane Connors from the Culture and Arts Committee, and also appointing Lauren Frizzoli as a regular member of the Culture and Arts Committee.
Motion?
Motion?
Second. Okay, is this roll call?
All in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, no proclamations. We have an ordinance for introduction.
We have ordinance number 2147-25, and the ordinance amending Chapter 195 fees of the Municipal Code of the Borough of Middlesex to include a new Article 4 entitled Waivers of Fees, to include fee waivers for certain volunteer fire responder organizations.
Motion?
Second.
Second. Okay, roll call?
Council President Conhan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Yes.
And Councilman Griggs?
Yes.
Okay, when's the public
April
hearing? April 8th will be the public hearing on this one.
Mhm.
All right. And we have two ordinances for adoption,
We have
for
ordinance...
public hearing, sorry, and private, final adoption.
Okay, we have ordinance number 2142-25, an ordinance vacating a portion of Grove Avenue in the Borough of Middlesex.
Okay, I need a motion to open the public portion.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, anyone wishing to speak on this, come up to the mic, give your name and address. Seeing nobody jumping up, I'd like to make a motion to,
Motion, Mayor?
all right, to close the public portion. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion to approve.
Motion? Second.
All right, any discussion?
Nope.
All right, roll call, please.
Council President Conhan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Yes.
And Councilman Griggs?
Yes.
All right, very good. Okay, let's move on to the next ordinance.
Ordinance number 2146-25, an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and establish a cap bank, NJSA 48:4-45-14.
Okay, motion to open the public session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, anyone wishing to come up and ask any questions, speak about this? Okay, motion to close.
Motion.
The public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's have a motion to approve.
Motion? Second.
All right, any discussion, questions? Roll call, please.
Council President Conhan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Yes.
Councilman Griggs?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Adoption of minutes, please.
We have adoption of the March 11, 2025 regular and executive meeting minutes.
Motion?
Motion?
Second. Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, very good. All right. Moving on to the mayor's report. My report is going to be pretty concise tonight. One of the things I just wanted to make mention is over the last couple of weeks, we've been working hard on the budget. We're getting close. One of the main pieces of that was a health coverage piece, which we'll be discussing in executive session tonight. Personally, I think it's a win. I think it's something that we probably should have done a couple of years ago, but I think it's a win for the town, and I think it's a win for our employees, and I'm happy that after 2 years, we're at that point. That's basically all I have at this point. Don't forget, Little League opening day is April 5th, and there's going to be a grand opening at the Limelight Pharmacy, which is in Super Fresh, on April 5th in the afternoon at 2:30. And that's all I have at this point. So, Council President Conahan.
Thanks, Mayor. I want to thank Adam Wick for his years of service to the DPW. Thanks, Adam. I don't think he's here. The Parks Committee will host the first Victor Crowd Park public input meeting on Tuesday, April 1st. This Tuesday, that's the library community room from 6:30 to 8:30. The next Friends of the Library program will be next Wednesday, April 2nd at 2 p.m. in the library community room. The program is titled Reclaiming Our Voice, about women securing the right to vote. Please attend our upcoming volunteer fair. It's on Saturday, May the 3rd, in the library community room from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. This is for borough organizations. Only that will complement our borough services and efforts to assist Middlesex Borough. I want to thank Kevin for your presentation tonight, and I have an update on the Greenbrook Flood Control Commission project. So I got a email here from, I know we have one of our flood commissioners here, the other one, our senior commissioner, I guess, Paul Waska, got a email from the flood control chair. Good news recently released last week on the Greenbrook project. Besides the $496 million, that was previously secured, an additional 220, almost 24 million was allocated in fiscal year 25. This brings the total for Greenbrook flood to $720 million, which essentially fully funds at mostly 100% federal expense the construction remaining for the entire lower basin and Stony Brook, which is us. This allocation allows us to further accelerate construction on this highly important infrastructure project for reducing flood risk, and we will share info with the NGA DEP as well. So I wanted to let everybody know that it looks like that's the final funding. We always kind of wondered about that, so it looks like that was finally here. So that's it, Mayor.
Okay, very good. All right, Councilman Carnes is not here. Kevin, thanks for taking that part. All right, Councilman DeSenza.
Yes, we have a little damage at the pool. The roof over the snack bar was blown away with all that wind we had last week. DPW is taking some temporary cover on it, putting a tarp over it just to cover it until we get our insurance people out there and have that all checked out. And that's about it for what I have.
All right, very good. Councilman DeCino.
Yes, for environmental, remember we had a proclamation for Dark Sky Week, April 21st to 28th. We're also moving forward with the ERI mapping through Nigerian for $3,400. And there was some concerns. I mean, we've had these talks here about the railroad crossing, but there were some concerns about the environmental impact at Cedar Ave. I explained to him that we've had numerous talks about this. We are working on it. I mean, I don't know how far we can go more than what we've already talked about, the discussions that we've had out there.
I mean, basically at this point, as far as the railroad crossing, is that it's funded. They owe us the bollards in between. That's the next step. After that, you know, we just keep hounding them to see what they're going to do about the $180 million that they propose to raise the tracks, which, you know, you have to keep asking. I mean, I'll be amazed if they do that, because it just seems to me that the first best thing is to just move all the tracks closer together so you don't have a gap. No. And that seems like that would be a hell of a lot less expensive than trying to build an overpass.
The concerns were, do we know what comes through town? I know when we had that meeting, there was an email or a site that we can go on, and you can see what comes through here by the placard numbers, but I know Craig Kaminsky had that. We had to look into that, and I'll get it to the Environmental Commission.
Okay, yeah, and maybe there's a way to get it public out there. Not that we could do anything about it, but at least the people would know what's there.
And also, March 29th, at the tree nursery, we'll be starting to fill containers, waiting for our next batch of trees to come in. We can start planting, so that's where we are with that. So that's all I have.
All right, very good. Councilman Doty.
Yeah, you have two quick things. We'll do the police report. I managed to get it. Calls for service in February, 1,848. 9 adult arrests, 3 DWIs, 349 motor vehicle summonses, 43 were radar, and 21 crashes. Their national incident-based reporting system, they had 7 crimes for February. They have cleared 4 of them, and that's a 57% clearance rate for February, which is really good for them. I have one more thing, and that is from the fire department regarding the annual carnival that the chief would like me to read.
Sure.
It's a statement on the cancellation of the annual carnival. It is with deep emotion that we announce the cancellation of our beloved Middlesex Fire Department annual carnival, which has been a cherished tradition in our town for the past 50 years. This decision was not made lightly, and we understand the disappointment it may bring to our community, visitors, and supporters who have made this event a success for decades. Unfortunately, several challenges have made it increasingly difficult to continue hosting the carnival. Among the key factors influencing this decision are issues stemming from last year's early closure from unprecedented attendance, which led to unexpected disruptions for residents, local businesses, and concerns over property impact. Public security concerns rising from attendance that exceeds our infrastructure, as ensuring a safe environment for attendees has become increasingly complex. Rising costs associated with heightened security requirements, which have significantly impacted the financial feasibility of hosting the event. Parking limitations and increased traffic congestion on Boundbrook Road, which have presented logistical difficulties for local residents and attendees. Given these challenges, we can no longer sustain the carnival in a way that ensures a safe, enjoyable, and well-managed experience for all. We want to take this moment to express our deepest gratitude to everyone who has contributed to this event over the years, our dedicated volunteers, sponsors, local businesses, Blue Star Amusements, governing body, and most importantly, the residents who have made this festival a cornerstone of our town's culture and community spirit. While this marks the end of a storied chapter for our volunteer organization, we remain committed to exploring new opportunities to bring our community together through alternative events and fundraising initiatives. Middlesex Fire Chief Ken Bartok stated, "We welcome ideas and discussions on how we can continue fostering the sense of togetherness that the carnival has represented for half a century. We appreciate your understanding and welcome your continued and needed support for our mission. Sincerely, Kenneth Bartok, Fire Chief, and Ryan Zittel, Carnival Chair." Unfortunately, security is one of the biggest, and the infrastructure. I know last year, and the mayor can attest to this, getting through the town, he was there physically also.
I was in the wrong place at the right time.
And they're worried about safety for people is a big concern. So all of this contributes to it. All I can say to you as a resident is please donate. I got my envelope in the mail and I immediately mailed it in to them. Please mail it in to your district firehouse. They need your contribution. This was a huge fundraiser for them that will no longer exists because of the atmosphere that is created and these mobs that show up. And it just makes it impossible to hold these types of events. We're not the only town this is happening to, because they talk to Blue Star Amusements, who they go to, and they had a couple of these canceled because of the same reasons, concerns. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Councilman Griggs?
Good evening. The Shade Tree Commission has started to take full swing recently with the last meeting, and they've had a number of trees that they have to investigate, find out if they're dead, need pruning or trimming or to be left alone. And there's been, they've had some discussions on possible changes to, recommend to like ordinances and stuff for sidewalks and different things. So that we'll need to discuss in the future. Their next meeting is on the second Thursday at 7 o'clock in this room next month. And the Board of Health, not much change in this month's meeting. They meet the third Thursday of the month in the community room. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Administrator report.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. As the Mayor mentioned earlier, work is continuing on the development of the 2025 budget, and the proposed budget will be introduced on April 8th. As mentioned earlier by the Council President, the first event in the upcoming public participation phase of the Victor Crowell Park master planning process is scheduled for Tuesday, April 1st at the community room of the Public Library. That'll be starting at 6 p.m. All are welcome to get involved in that. And I just wanted to note a second work session has already been scheduled for Tuesday, May 6th. And we're going to try to hold that at Victor Prowl Park in the Annex Building. What I really wanted to make clear to everyone, too, is that there is now a special information page on the municipal website if you want to go. And this is just for the project, so you can keep up to date on all the information and the upcoming events. Middlesex County is working closely with the borough to coordinate our participation in the upcoming state plan, new state planning, updated state plan for New Jersey. I attended a meeting last night in New Brunswick as the process of county coordinated planning begins for all the towns. Cross-acceptance is what the process is called, and it requires the participation of municipalities, counties, and regional agencies to coordinate all their planning. So we'll be reporting as we move forward into that process. I'll be making update reports on that. As mentioned, the Public Works Department has been busy with lots of projects, including stabilizing the roof at the pool, putting tarps up there, while we're making planning for long-term repairs to the roof. They've also been doing a lot of cleanup work in the parks and other seasonal work. The Police Department, Middlesex Police, is investigating the damage to the long-time illuminated police in Borough Hall pole-mounted sign, which is at Mountain Avenue and Route 28. It appears to have been damaged by a truck or by construction equipment. So we're going to see if there's any cameras in the area that saw who hit the sign and try to get the sign fixed. Middlesex Bunny Hop is this Saturday, March 29th, from 10 a.m. to 12 noon at the Rec Center in Legion Place. The star of the event will be the Easter Bunny, and there will be games, crafts, and a petting zoo. Parking will be available here at Borough Hall. And a reminder, the deadline to sign up kids for the summer playground program is May 31st. A timely service underway for seniors is the free income tax preparation program, which is sponsored by AARP. The service is offered at the Senior and Rec Center every Tuesday and Thursday, and this is through April 15th. The program is by appointment only, so please call the center to schedule an appointment, and the number is 356-0414. It's also on the municipal website. Resolutions this evening include approval of a developer's agreement for a sanitary sewer service at 700 South Avenue, authorization for the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding between the New Jersey Office of Emergency Management and the Borough of Middlesex for a hazard management grant, and the acceptance of resignation of Andrew Wick from the Department of Public Works, which will be effective March 28, 2025. Tonight's agenda workshop will have a discussion of the film committee. I guess I don't know. Are we going to?
No, I'd use it as a presentation.
So we got that done. And there will be a discussion of curbside recycling program. Executive session topics this evening will include the zoning and code enforcement officer position and contract negotiations for employee health benefits and also negotiations for the property at 1190 Mountain Avenue. Finally, this is a personal note. I wanted to note that my second year anniversary with the borough was last Thursday, and I'd like to thank the mayor and the council and the community for the opportunity to work in such a wonderful municipality. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, next we're going to move to the privilege of the floor. If there's something you want to speak your piece about, step up to the mic, give your name and address.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mark Cron, 7 Park Place. As I said, my name is Mark Cron. I'm the chairman of the Middlesex Community Pool Commission. I'm here to clear up a bunch of fiction that's being posted on Facebook concerning the dissolution of the synchro team at the pool. First, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the 6 most amazing Middlesex resident volunteers that have given their time and efforts over the years to make sure the pool runs efficiently and cost effectively. I'm privileged to work with them on the commission. All 6 have an unbelievably strong fiduciary responsibility in doing what's right and are 100% vested to that purpose. Middlesex Community Pool has been said by many to be the gem of Middlesex and one of the best run organizations in town. This is evidenced by the Pool Commission never receiving 1 tax dollar since its creation in the 1960s, In those 60-plus years, the pool has been 100% self-sufficient, which many town members don't know, and has completed 5 capital improvement expansion projects totally funded and paid for by the commission. Now getting to a few of the issues posted on Facebook. First, the commission has been accused of not being diverse, which is a very politically active thing today. And I strongly resent the accusations that the commission does not support diversity as posted by Michelle Lynch and others on Facebook. These accusations are untrue, baseless, and slanderous. Another thing is coaches. We were promised by Michelle Lynch they would have a coach and assistant coach. We were told on April 7th, at our meeting on April 17th, 2024, that they had 2 girls to coach, grade 16 and Dan 17. Contrary to what's been posted on Facebook, the pool budgeted money for both a coach and an assistant coach. On Facebook, they're saying we didn't budget any money for an assistant coach, which is just untrue. We were told on August 21st, 2024, that the coach was now Eileen, and pool management was never informed, apparently, that the coach and the assistant coach that I mentioned earlier had quit, and they replaced her. Membership. This is a big one. According to pool, on Facebook, they're talking about how they have 20 members on the team, 17. I've seen a lot of different numbers. According to pool records, pool financial records, 15 girls paid the team membership fee, not 20. Of those 15, 3 paid a partial team membership fee, never completed paying the whole fee. 3 families, which is 5 team members, did not have pool memberships, which is required of all team members for the swim team and the synchro teams. And the worst, the most egregious, is one 10-year-old team member. Her mother used her birthday of 1977 to register her membership on our membership website, because you need to be 14 to have an individual membership, which is the cheapest membership. So she used her birthday for the 10-year-old's member registration and purchased an individual membership. That misuse of membership opens the pool and the town to enormous liability that she lied about her age on the thing, because 14-year-olds are allowed to come to the pool on their own, 10-year-olds are not. So if we subtract the 5 team members that didn't have pool memberships, the 3 that didn't pay their full fees, and the 1 that lied on their membership, if you take that from the 15 that paid, that leaves 8 or 9 actual legitimate team members. So I don't care what they say, they're the numbers, and they're the financial numbers from the pool. There was at least 1 team member that used a kickboard in the pool. All swim team and synchro members are required to be able to swim. Can't use a kickboard in the pool. So again, that's a huge liability for the pool and the town, that a team member can't swim. And they don't have to swim well, they just need to be able to swim. Secret meetings. We were accused of having a secret meeting to vote to dissolve the synchro team. In 25 years of being on the pool commission, we have never had a secret meeting. We follow the state sunshine laws meeting. All meeting dates, times, and locations are submitted to the borough and are posted on the borough website and in Borough Hall. Several of the synchro parents attended our August meeting in 2024 and were leveling accusations at the pool manager, who wasn't able to attend the August and September meetings. All parties agreed to put off discussions until the manager could attend the meeting in October. Unfortunately, in October, no synchro parents showed up to the meeting. Finally, several complaints by the pool management staff concerning eating on the lawn, which is not allowed. All food has to be consumed in the snack bar. And the team members were eating on the lawn and didn't clean up their garbage after they completed and left. Team members during practice were joining the Aqua Zumba class in the pool, which members paid to be in. They should have been practicing, not sliding over into the Aqua Zumba class. The night of in the beginning of August, when they did their show, they prepped in the snack bar. They left the snack bar a mess. Didn't clean up any of their garbage, nothing. And they should have. Again, they're not reporting any donations they received, especially any cash from area businesses to pool management, and they're extremely confrontational with staff and management. In light of the blatant disregard for pool rules and regulations, violations of membership requirements, below legitimate membership numbers, and constant disagreements with pool staff and management, the Commission voted unanimously to stand the sink routine. Michelle Lynch was reminded numerous times of the membership requirements and other issues, and seemingly chose to ignore all these requirements to run the team as she saw fit. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Hello, how are you guys tonight? Michelle Lynch, 259 Market Street, Middlesex, New Jersey. I'm the woman that he stood here and talked about. I do not work for the pool. I do not make any money from the pool. At no time did I become a manager of the synchronized swimming team or anything. I was a parent liaison. The membership issues that he mentioned were his pool manager's duty. I have no access to membership. I have no way to verify that girls join the pool or not. They turn in paperwork to me as a parent liaison. I turn it in to the pool manager. If people were violating rules or not paid, I don't know that. I have no way of knowing whether they paid for the pool or not. At the 9 or 10 weeks that they are a member of the team, at no time did anyone ever come to a practice or address me and tell me that a parent either did something wrong or hadn't paid for the membership. So much so that all of the 19 girls we had last year, I have the roster, and I'd be willing to provide it to anybody here. I also have the pamphlet from the show with all of the girls' names listed. I can share that with anybody here. At no time were any issues brought up. So these girls were allowed to be in the entire season and perform in the show. So if there was a problem with their membership fee or their membership status, nobody at the pool brought it up to us at all. Now I think it's funny that when they want to disband the team, and to be very clear about the meeting that I mentioned, we did go to the August meeting. We did bring up multiple concerns. They told us we could not address them at the meeting until the pool manager was there, and they would contact us in October. Then he sends me an email and he says the vote was in September. You don't think that's a little weird? He tells us we can't come back to address them until October when Jim is there, which is what you just said in your statement, and then they have a vote in September. They weren't willing to listen to us at all. We went to the August meeting, we brought concerns, we were shut down and told we can no longer talk at the meeting and to come back in October. We were never given a chance to voice our concerns or bring those things to the table. The difference is about a parent liaison and what I offer to the team is support. I've been the parent liaison for 4 years. 4 years I've been. I am not privy to pool records. Nobody took donations from the town. I don't know what he's talking about when he talks about that. I think the problem that we have is the pool committee, the pool commission overall, is not a diverse committee. There are not many of them who even go to the pool or have children or family members that attend the pool, and then they're making these decisions haphazardly and have no idea how it really affects the community. You're talking about a synchronized swimming team. We are the only recreational synchronized swimming team in the state of New Jersey. We've been at the community pool for 54 years. To shut down a program because you're mentioning problems with membership, is that the girls' problem? Should I tell my 12-year-old, I'm sorry, they canceled your team because someone lied on their application to the pool? How would I know that? How would the kids know that? I think what we have here is a committee that makes decisions without ever factoring in what the community does. And I will say again, I am a volunteer. I have volunteered at the pool for 4 years. I feel like at the end of the day, I'm asking this council to advocate for the community's behalf. Because what we have is a committee that is not willing to listen to parents. They're not willing to listen to anybody. and it's not fair to the group of girls. Yes, it is a diverse group of girls. It happens to be one of the most diverse group of girls that this pool has to offer, to be honest. And it's sad to see it go. So again, my ask to this council is that you will advocate on our behalf, even just maybe helping us start a conversation about it, because we have been given no opportunity to do that. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Mr. Grants, when's the next pool commission meeting?
April 17th, I believe.
April 17th? That's a public meeting, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They're all public meetings.
Okay. I would say the best place to start the conversation is have your people represented at the April 17th meeting, because we try not to go, the commission has to have their chance, but we also want to follow the chain of command. Go there, have the meeting, and then we'll see where...
I guarantee that when we attend again, we won't be sent away. We were sent away at the August meeting.
Michelle,
All of these parents...
All right, ho, guys.
Raise your hand if you were sent away from the August meeting.
Listen, I'm not going to sit here and debate what happened in the past.
Okay, I'm just asking.
What I'm going to tell you is that let's go to the April 17th meeting, April 17th, right? Yeah, April 17th, and then let's get a report back that'll come from the meeting minutes, and we'll see where we go from there.
sorry, Mayor, it's April 16th.
16th, okay. What is that, a Tuesday? Wednesday. Okay. That's the first best next step.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Okay, anyone else? All right, now, here you go.
Where'd you walk in?
Frank Ryan, 303 Maple Street. I'm glad I came in after this, because whatever I blasted out would seem soft.
It's going to take you 3 minutes just to get through your intro, Frank. Let's go.
I saw here you have personnel zoning officer. I'm here tonight to say whatever the decision is made. I know there were talks. I got to know Tyler over the last couple of years. He's come a long way from day one. Planning board, we got planning board members, or land use board members up here, and I'm hoping they see it my way. Tyler has, when he comes to meetings, he's well prepared. If he doesn't have an answer, he'll get back to you. I've had dealings with him in Bound Brook, always got back to me with an answer. I might not like the answer a lot of times, but it's an answer that's legit. And I have to follow whether the rules, regulations. It's hard sometimes for me to do that, but so whatever happens in the back room tonight, I know if you bring in other people, you don't know what their baggage is, you don't know what they know. They come, they all look good, and then all of a sudden, then you start picking up stuff that you didn't see when they first interviewed. So I'm here to advocate for Tyler. You're going to talk about it tonight.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Anne Marie Kleiber, 116 Chestnut Street. Regarding the city tree, some things we had trouble with. And the tree commission refuses to do anything about it. I reported that there's blistering in the street around the root, the drip line of the tree. It's making humps in the street that anybody could trip over, especially our DPW when they're collecting trash. It's a tripping hazard. And now it's to the point where it's not letting the rainwater drain down the street. So every time it rains, I've got a giant puddle the whole length of my property. So if they're not going to do the tree, I emailed everybody. And Mr. Ryan advised me before the meeting that the tree is going to stay. So if the tree is going to stay, what are you going to do about my street? Because this is just normal rain. What happens when you have a nor'easter or a tropical storm? When it's raining, the water comes halfway up my driveway. And it takes a day or so to drain. So what are you going to do about my street?
I'll go out there, Mayor, with Chris this week.
They'll take a look at it. It's on the, I know for the Shade Tree Commission to take another look at it, see what can be done. I mean,
Well, apparently,
DPW should look at it.
well, they're both gonna go.
Mr. Ryan said everybody was out there today and looked at it and said it was fine, but it's not fine. So I want to know what you're going to do about my street.
Ms. Clyber, I remember that the clerk, who was copied on the email that you sent today, responded to you and said that she was going to bring it back to the attention of the Shade Tree Commission. So that will happen. I will also have the Department of Public Works monitor the situation. That's what we can do for you. It's been determined in the past that it's a viable public shade tree. So we will monitor the situation, and we will take into account your concerns about flooding and the condition of the curb and the road.
And my sidewalks.
And your sidewalks. We'll take a look at that as well.
The tree is outgrowing its spot.
But I'm just asking you to please work with us, because the professionals have
I've
gone out
been
there.
working with you.
The professionals have been out there, and they've determined that it's a viable shade tree, but we'll monitor the situation as it changes.
Professional what?
Arborists,
They're professional arborists.
engineers, public works director.
Well, I want something done because there's something going on.
Well, we've responded to every one of your requests, and we'll continue to do so.
Yeah, the response was no to everything.
Well, no, that's not exactly accurate. The determination was that the tree is a viable tree that's owned by the borough, by the citizens of Middlesex. It is not a private tree. So we have to make the decision based on what's best for the entire community. But we will monitor the situation as it affects your property.
Come out the next time, please, and you'll see.
I will.
And you'll see.
I will.
All right.
I promise you I will.
Thank you.
Alrighty, anybody else?
Tony Moan, 4 Lawyer Lane. Sorry, I'm backtracking a little bit. I'm going back to the pool. I was not born and raised in this town. I moved here because I like the small feel community that I wanted to raise my children in. My daughter is extremely shy. She came into her own joining the team. She made wonderful friends. It was a little disheartening to see how the team was treated. As you can see by the presentation from Mr. Cran and his body language, going to the April meeting is not going to make a difference. It's going to fall on deaf ears. We definitely need somebody else there, a third party, to hear both sides, because we are not going to be heard. Just like we were not heard in August, we were shut down. I was there. We were not able to speak. With him saying that there were girls in the pool with the pads, that was part of their routine. They used that. They were not using it because they couldn't swim. They were using it because it was a prop. He would know that. They would know that if they showed any interest in the team. We most certainly did clean up after ourselves. I have spent the past 2 years staying after, making sure that everything was clean. Our girls are respectful, and they do take care of the pool. Like, I agree with Michelle, like she said, we have no bearing on what happens with the pool membership. That is him and his team, and that is their problem, not ours. But I will say that there are just so many things that have happened that nobody knows about because nobody cares. But, okay, but let me just tell you a couple of things from a parent's point of view, okay? Our girls are there every day for practice in the morning, and the last week, they practice at night. The lights have been shut off on us. They weren't allowed to use their music. The swim team has the pool shut down for them. Midday, it's announced that the pool is shut down so that the swim team can have their party and their award ceremony. Do you know when the synchronized swim team gets to do it? One morning for 1 hour before the pool opens. That's it. That's it. And we can't even use the deep end because there's no lifeguards there. They won't open the slide for us, and they will not do anything that they do for the swim team that they do for the synchronized swim team. like I said, I'm not born and raised here. When I post photos of my daughter in the show, everybody, I have people from all over, New York, California, Florida, all families, they are in awe of how I live in this small town and have a synchronized swim team. They can't believe it. They're like, how lucky are you? I said, I know I am lucky. And then I had to tell my 12-year-old daughter that it was canceled because of inconsistencies in their records to keep the proper documentation for pool memberships. Most of our team isn't even comprised of people who live in Middlesex. They come from other towns. They're even paying more money for their membership to come. He's losing out on, I only joined the pool so that my daughter can join the synchronized swim team. So most people are not going to come back to the pool. And I just think it's extremely unfair. And if he's making these accusations of how we eat on the grass and the girls are using the pads and all this other nonsense, then where's the documentation? Where's the pictures? Because I will stand here and attest that those kids do not leave that pool a mess. Those parents are there at the end of the show cleaning up. We're not getting paid for that. No one's getting paid for that. There are parents at every nighttime practice, and that pool is immaculate. But I will tell you, those lights have been shut off on us, and the girls know it. Many times they had to go swim in the lap pool. We weren't even allowed to practice where we were supposed to practice. There's a lot of inconsistency. When we talk about diversity, we're not even talking about, Michelle never even said anything about diversity. She posted a photo of the team, and the town itself said that this town is not diverse. Those words were never spoken by Michelle. Never. The town itself is seeing the disparity. And it's not just about skin color. It's about swim team versus synchro. Those girls felt that. They felt it. They knew that the swim team meant more to that pool than the synchronized swim team. And they should be supporting us because we're the only synchronized swim team in the area. The only one. And the pool should be supporting us instead of getting rid of us.
All right, thank you. Hey, Joe, you going to be at that meeting? We're going to have a councilman there.
Thank you.
Bruce Sanders, 10 Minutes Avenue, just a few questions. First, Mr. LaPlace, did we get any update on Somerset County, taking our land for historical, any update there?
I have spoken just this week with Middlesex County, because it's a partnership, and they've promised us, although strangely, they haven't told me yet who's in charge of the project, which seems kind of odd, pressing on that, but they said they promised that we will be part of the next meeting in terms of planning for the park. And we're also, they've been very receptive to the idea of us aggressively going after some additional open space trust fund monies for Middlesex County, just to help our parks, maybe to bring some more money into the town, to more or less compensate for some of that revenue that we're losing from the property that we've taken to the new park.
Okay, if you'll keep us up to date.
I will.
Okay, good. In terms of the budget, have we checked in with PSE&G?
I did it today.
Okay, because lighting, they are giving out pretty good financial kickbacks for putting in LED lighting. That may be worth looking into, because they will fund a good majority of replacing like LED lights and things like that. So I've seen it on their website.
You mean like street lights or internal?
No, right here. Municipal saving on, programs for solar, programs for efficiencies in buildings. I think it might be, and they'll come out, I don't know if it would cost anything for them to do an assessment.
I don't think it does for municipal, but it's a good avenue. We'll check it into it, for sure.
No cost.
Okay.
I know we did it at the Elks, and they paid for it. It was like $1,700 or something. New light, they took all new light fixtures, new bulbs, everything.
It was done at the Public Works Building several years ago too, when I was still there. They came in and changed all the fixtures.
We could have all the fixtures in the building changed to LED. if they would
They
do
come
it.
in, they'll come in and do an assessment.
Yeah, they do an assessment, because usually what they're doing is that they're asking, it's like a lease payback type thing. You're sort of buying everything, and then they're figuring, it depends. They go both ways, but they've had those kinds of
I just
programs.
thought it might be an efficiency.
Yeah, listen, can't hurt to check into, for sure.
Something for next year.
Yeah, okay. The last meeting, no video up. I don't know, hopefully I'm not going to be...
It's not up yet.
The video from last meeting is not up on YouTube, so...
I understand it exists. We'll get it up relatively soon. We actually were having a meeting today about, utilizing the system that we have, what it's going to take to get it connected, which I was really surprised that it's not already. I can't imagine that it's a big deal to have these meetings live streamed, just as we're doing them on an ongoing basis.
Okay.
So.
And then finally, I've been going to the school board meetings. I asked a lot of different questions on budgeting. We have at least 2 representatives here tonight. I was not answered. The last meeting, things were a little better. What I did at that meeting was brought the 7 or 8 questions that the Borough Council had from our meeting back in November, that group meeting about all the heads of different departments regarding the budget. So I brought those questions to the school board and pretty much defined what they are. And I'm hoping that you guys will answer those questions, because essentially it's our community tax dollars that go for, I think, like at least 59%.
When you say you guys, us guys, those guys.
I took your questions that we had at the meeting,
Right.
and I presented them to the Board of Ed.
Oh, okay.
In regard, because nothing's been answered. I asked them at the meeting before that, I had said to Sharon, did you inform the superintendent of schools? She said she did. So I expected to get answers to those questions. So to make sure that they knew what the questions were, the chart that we had for the superintendent of schools, I read out and explained what those questions to the Board of Ed are about.
Right. You're talking from the town hall.
From the town hall.
Gotcha.
Correct. So I'm hoping that we get some kind of response to those questions. They're in the middle of budget time, and part of that is one of the questions, are we too top-heavy, $4 million for administrative staff that don't touch kids? So, I mean, there were other questions there. I outlined what they were, and I'm hoping to get a response, or, the borough should get a response from those questions. So,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Anything else? Anybody else? Oh,
Kevin, just before going for if you have any Middlesex, now that it's come up regarding the schools, I just want to make a point, educate some folks and put it out there and create record, that there needs to be a re-registration of students before this budget is submitted. The last time there was a re-registration of students, they discovered 70 students that did not belong in the district. At our present per student price, 70 equates to almost $1 million, if not a little over $1 million. It's been at least 7 years since the last time it was done. To me, it seems completely absurd to factor in students that don't belong in the district in the existing budget.
the last full registration, Kevin, was done when I did it with Jim Baker. That's
how long? That's true. Then how long did that take? Once you got it in motion,
3 months.
it didn't take that long.
It was over the summer. It was done. It was done over the summer, I believe, and you sort of registered the kids as they came in, and people had to come to the school during this. I believe it was August. They had to come. I don't remember exactly, so don't hold my feet to the fire. But I know it didn't take long for us to get to that number, and it was just about, if I remember the number right, because it was 69. It was like 69 kids
that don't belong in the district
that were found. Yes.
Right. And one of the factors that goes into play when it comes to the state level is they have something they call a weighted student population. Weighted population are students taking ESL, students that are on subsidy programs, meal programs, that kind of thing. How many weighted population you have affects your budget. I would have to think that some of the students that are coming here that don't belong would be weighted. population. So it impacts the weighted population, which may explain why there's a reluctance or why it doesn't get done until every 7 years. But it certainly needs to be done. Another piece that was interesting to me is that I continuously hear from people associated with the board about the problems with Facebook and all the chatter on Facebook. Yet if you go to the district website and you hit the contact button, it takes you to an information field, and when you hit that, it asks you to then log in through one of several platforms, and one of those platforms is Facebook. The school had a legendary scandal that was nationwide news, and it's centered on Facebook. How it is, we've arrived at a place where we've drawn a shorter line between Facebook and the email system is absolutely beyond me. I brought that up at this Tuesday meeting last Tuesday. It's been a week. It's still there. They have in-house IT. This is a matter of minutes to pull that down. That's rather than mentioning the fact that they only list 4 platforms that personally myself I don't have access to or I wouldn't use. Because if you should hit the Facebook button, it then asks you for your password and username. But interestingly enough, the window at the top does not reflect the Facebook address, it's a Google address.
Can you get through by not using those?
No.
Or?
You have to use it. It has to be what they consider a secure email.
Yeah.
So I don't know what communication is like with them. I haven't had any, but it seems odd that we would be directing parents through Facebook when we seem to have so many complaints about parents using Facebook.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Hello, Claire.
Claire Born, 809 Grandview.
Hey, Claire, could you turn the mic down a little bit?
I've also been trying to reach out to the Board of Ed through that portal, and I'm using the Google link, and it still doesn't work. So, but anyway, I'm just here to address the energy audit. So the Borough and the Environmental Commission did apply for Sustainable Jersey's PSE&G Partnership Energy Audit Planning Grant, which we received. So we provided them with our borough utility bills, and we narrowed down. They're going to be auditing a handful of buildings, including this one, the library, rec center, police department, and I believe one of the fire departments. So that is in the works to do the energy audit, find out what we can do to improve energy in the building.
So you're ahead of us. Thank you.
Anne-Marie Clyber, 116 Chestnut. Just a few comments on the pool situation. When my son was on the swim team a few short years ago, there was over 100 kids on the team. Now I hear that it's like a quarter of that. I just wonder why, such a drop in the number of kids. And the synchro team has been canceled. These are great summer activities for the kids to stay active while learning important teamwork and life skills, as well as making new friends. So I'm wondering, where did the 100 kids go from the swim team? And now we're going to lose the synchro team. So that's like 120 memberships gone. Not good management. And as my time on the commission as publicity, I found out that, that they're the only synchro team in New Jersey. So these guys just can't go to another team. And in my time, I would go to the Aqualite show. That show would be packed. The deck was full of families, cousins, relatives, friends. And then, in my promotional mind, those were potential memberships. They get to see the grounds. They get to see, what goes on at the pool. All these great activities for the kids. So now that's all gone if they keep the single team off. So, this was a great way to promote the pool, with this unique sport. The pool should be very proud that they're home to such a unique sport. But disappointingly, they choose to take this great opportunity away from the team members yet again. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody else?
Good evening, William Gallagher, 508 Grandview Street. It's been 4 weeks now since I brought to your attention the loss of life of a woman suffering from a mental health crisis and concerns around how it was handled. Rather than just complaining, I also brought up to you 3 items which could be actioned, one being a fully implemented ordinance already established in multiple communities, which ironically, Mr. LaPlace, seems like it could help you based on your comments about the street sign damage. So I did send you that ordinance.
Yes.
Thank you. So we attended the Parks Committee meeting the following week and raised the camera suggestion in parks, as suggested. At that meeting, we also recommended a 4th suggestion, which is the addition of, or the exploration of adding Big Valley trash cans. Funny name, but they're actually helpful because they've proven in numerous communities and cities to help reduce costs, keep areas cleaner, and unfortunately, in this very particular instance, could have deterred the loss of life. It was at that point, after an inappropriate and self-focused comment from Mr. DeSenza, we learned a few items. This council appears to be more focused on combating geese. This town wasted approximately $35,000 on cosmetic trash cans, which do nothing but simply cover up existing trash cans. There is little to no appetite to introduce known solutions because of added ongoing costs. And in Mr. DeSenza's your own words, it doesn't make sense to implement smart trash cans because it only takes our DPW workers about an hour a day to drive around the town and empty the garbage cans. That we have an excellent DPW manager who allocates resources correctly. I'm going to only address the last 2 items. With regards to additional costs related to cameras, smart trash cans, anything related to an internet connection, I'll refer you to my thesis, submitted as a master's degree project and published at LaSalle University, regarding implementing a municipal-wide network which would significantly reduce costs for this town and allow you to implement these features. It evaluated a town 11 times the size of Middlesex Borough, was defended against a board member of the Philadelphia Wi-Fi project, approved by 2 IT directors and confirmed by 3 telecommunication installers to be accurate. The estimated savings were well above the relatively low implementation. And if you're interested in it, you can go to LaSalle University Library to read it, or reach out to Mr. Bornlacher, because we were about to implement it, or begin it until COVID hit, unfortunately, and we had to reallocate funds. Now, returning to the time it takes DPW to complete a circuit around the town, there's a reason I highlight this. If it only takes our DPW about an hour to go around town, why was a family forced to wait hours for resources to be mobilized? Why, when the woman's husband said she most likely went to one of the town parks, couldn't someone do this circuit that apparently only takes an hour to do? Yes, it is correct, resources were brought in, they were sent to the wrong area. I challenged you to step up and be leaders 4 weeks ago. In that time, you have been leaders. You've spent 22 minutes discussing plant species within town, which I support, but it's difficult to prevent because spores and seeds can easily be spread by wind. You've continued to joke about geese in the parks. You've discussed and now presented an ordinance on providing relief to first responders to attract more attention. Excellent. That's important because we need our first responders, and they should be rewarded in some way. And what this shows is that when something's important to you, you will act quickly. And yet not one word has related to the death that was in this park. Not one acknowledgement of the potential actions to try to prevent this. And no expression of sympathy or concern. During the February 25th meeting, a statement was made that you're all just volunteers. Just because the ordinance doesn't compensate you financially, this is a job. And when I did my 3 years, I treated it as a full-time job, on top of having a full-time job, serving as the commissioner or the chairman of an authority and going to school. The employers in this case are the residents of Middlesex Borough, and they deserve your attention. People keep bringing issues up to you, so there's no issues in town. Decisions you make on the day affect the lives of businesses. To imply anything else means maybe you aren't fit for the position or out of touch with the community raising big concerns and should resign. Let those who do want to serve their community have the privilege. I'll leave you with a friendly piece of advice. If people are showing up to raise awareness of serious topic and showing up suddenly that you've never seen them before, and providing detailed solutions with steps to get there, it's best not to joke around, make inappropriate comments, and maybe start listening. Thank you.
Okay, just me first. First of all, regarding the situation with the young lady, it's an open and active investigation. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to comment about it in any way, shape, or form until we get a formal report back. That was, as soon as that information was given to us, it went to the county, and it was mobilized, and it's under their jurisdiction as to how to handle it. The second thing I'm going to leave you with is, don't you ever tell me how I grieve or don't grieve, because we take it very serious what's happened. Just because I'm not sitting here waving a flag and coming out here doesn't mean that I didn't feel their pain, and it doesn't mean that I don't feel bad for what happened. So thank you very much for your comment. We take everything under consideration. Thank you. All right, anybody else? Okay, let's motion to close the public section. Oh, one more?
One more. One more.
Good evening, Jack. My name is Rich Mouse, 109 Green Avenue. Regarding the comments made last November, I have a list here. If anyone wants to see those. All right. Jack, we continue to go to Board of Education meetings, and our concerns fall on deaf ears. I've been in education 43 years. I've never seen such irresponsible spending on behalf of the Board of Education. I can put my finger on $300,000 that shouldn't have been spent. All right. This school year, we had an additional almost $2,500,000 in state aid given to the Board of Education, which is a difference of almost 17% more. They're taking money right out of this town and throwing it away, and it's affecting the entire town. It's affecting your job here at this part of the town. Something has to be done. We'll continue to go to the Board of Education, but it's they don't talk, and you can't communicate with them. And I hope that your communication with them is better than ours. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, seeing nobody else coming up, motion to close the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Time for the resolutions.
Okay, we have Resolution 94, 2025, acceptance of standing reports. Resolution 95, 2025, authorizing the execution of a developer's agreement by and among AHA Holding Group, LLC, the Borough of Middlesex, and the Township of Piscataway, affecting Block 264, Lot 4, 5, and 6 on the Borough of Middlesex tax map. Resolution 96, 2025, acknowledging the change in status for certain properties under the Senior Citizens Disabled Person tax deductions for Block 201, Lot 1. Resolution 97, 2025, authorizing the mayor to execute the memorandum of understanding between the New Jersey Office of Emergency Management and the Borough of Middlesex for the Hazard Mitigation Grant. Resolution 98, 2025, just reimbursement of dog license fee in the amount of $10 to Emily Claus due to insufficient rabies vaccination. Resolution 99, 2025, pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-20, approval of an emergency temporary appropriation for the purpose of covering certain commitments not provided in the temporary budget. Resolution 100, 2025, accepting the resignation of Adam Wick from the Department of Public Works effective March 28, 2025.
Okay, anyone need to pull any of these? No? Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
All right, any discussion?
No.
All right, call the roll, please.
Council President Carnahan.
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Yes.
Councilman Griggs?
Yes.
Okay, non-consent agenda, please.
We have Resolution 101-2025, payroll claims.
Could I have a motion?
Second.
Second. All right, any discussion on these? I don't think so. Call the roll, please.
Council President Conahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Yes.
Councilman Griggs?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to move on to the agenda workshop item here. Curbside recycling. I was going to have Lenny talk about this, but one of the things that's coming up with the curbside recycling is that they're pushing forward a change. And the change that's going to come is that the recycling is going to go section by section in town. I'm not sure which ones. They haven't provided that information, but they're looking to use one-armed bandits and 92, I think they're 92-gallon cans. And if there are people that are not old enough, that are too old, that can't handle the larger cans, they will have the ability to use smaller cans. In areas where the one-armed bandits can't fit in, they're going to have a modified truck that can actually pick them up off the back. I forget what they call it. There's some sort of name for how they get the trash going in. This is being I was going to say proposed, because it's not really proposed, and they're telling us that this is what they're going to do. And
They being the county.
the county is bringing that one forward. They're saying it's in response to the fact that we've had recycling all over the place, blowing all over the streets. They're figuring out the larger cans with the lids are going to be a better way to keep it under control. They're going to try and start rolling it out. Once we have more information, which I don't have, we'll put it out there. And I just wanted to make sure. I just found out about it last week, so here we are. I figured I'd just throw it out there for everyone to know. The public will at least have a little bit of forewarning, and where it goes after that. I mean, at the end of the day, it could be a good thing, and let's see how it all works out. That's it. That's all I have on it.
Jack, there's no cost to the cans, obviously.
No, they're going to provide. They're going to provide the first one. That's what I heard. I'd like to sit there and say, listen, I got garbage cans at my house. They go about 2-3 years. They dry rot, and then you look at them sideways and they crack. I mean, are they going to look to do something like that every couple of years, or is after that does it become a cost? That I haven't heard. And that's all. That's all I have on that one. At this point, we have privilege of the floor on the agenda workshop items. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Anyone wishing to come and talk about or have any questions on the curbside recycling, we could certainly notate them if you want to know them.
What's the timeline, too?
They didn't really explain the timeline. I think they're looking to try and get this going somewhere around middle of April.
That's the contract.
Right. Well, the contract's over. I mean, they're trying to
That's the new contract.
right. They're trying to roll it into the new one. Okay. Workshop item. Hello there, Mr. Ryan.
303 Maple. I think it's a good idea. On a windstorm, all the bottles, cans are all over the place, especially in Bound Brook. I'm in Bound Brook North, and I think, Tyler, we brought this up. Somebody will have 3 cans, but they've got 6 cans worth of garbage going in those things. One car drives by and half the stuff is going down the street. So I think it's a good idea to get a lid on it, keep the town cleaner. So I think we should give it a shot.
Right. And as soon as we have information, we're going to put it out there that people know what's going on. I wish I knew, but I haven't been made privy of what their rollout plan is.
The mayor, if you got any pull, I think Rich Thomas, he should have a smaller can.
Right under the bus, Rich. He just threw you right under. Okay. Anyone else? All right. So I need a motion to close. No. Yeah. I need a motion to close the privilege of the floor on the agenda workshop item. Motion. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we're going to have an executive session. Read the motion. I will tell you that action may be taken. Maybe. All right.
We have Resolution 102-2025, executive session.
Okay, motion?
Second.
All right, any discussion? Call the roll.
Council President Carnahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza? Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Yes.
And Councilman Briggs?
Yes.
Okay, we are, like I said, action may be taken. Our next regular